JBS Blade Works making a video? Nah, get the hell out of here. Yeah, I know. I hadn't made a video in ages, and I'm sorry for all the people that subscribe to my channel. Been so long since I've done anything, made a video, made knives, any of that. So, just want to tell y'all sorry up front about that. But I mean, life, man, it's really kind of gotten away of any of my blade work stuff. I've done a little bit of stuff here and there, and that's really about it. I mean, I work construction, you know, sometimes I get sent out of town. You know, I might be here 6 months, there 6 months. I might be 4 hours away from my house for a year and a half. It just depends, you know, sometimes. So I can't always dedicate the time that I want to make knives. And I got a shitload of other hobbies too, so you know that kind of takes a lot of my time up also. You know, 4-wheel drives, guns, cars, so it's kind of hard to balance it all out, but I'm trying to get some of my other projects and stuff out of the way, so I'll have time to hopefully start making some blades at some point in time this year. But for now, I'm just gonna do a video of some of the blades that I've collected over the years from other makers, and I do have one that is mine, but just mainly about, you know, stuff I bought from people over the years. So we'll go ahead and get started with that after I take a sip of this beer. I'm gonna start off with Omniboy Blade Works. He's probably one of my favorite makers over the years. I stay in contact with him on a regular basis. You know, we chit chat and message back and forth and talk about designs and stuff like that. And I'm gonna start off with some of his stuff. This is one of his prototype Kodiaks that I got lucky enough to pick up secondhand from somebody that got it from him. Well, I got it from the guy that got it from him, so third hand, whatever you want to call it. It didn't come with a sheath, so I'm starting on this leather scabbard. I want to make this kind of a medieval type looking scabbard, similar to this, which is made by another maker. I'll get to that one later, Jan Straka. But this is one of his prototype Kodiaks that has the sawback on it. I think Chance was the original owner that got this from Jared originally, and then he passed it on to another person, which I contacted Jared, and Jared still knew who had it, and the guy contacted me, and I picked it up from him, but it wasn't finished. It didn't have the handle scales on it. You know, it still had some of the, you know, it needed to be shaped and all that. It had the fittings welded on, but other than that, you know, it had the edge and it was still roughed out handle. So I picked that up, put some G10 on it, peel ply. I wanted to do the big flare tubes like Jared did on his other Kodiaks, the prototypes, but you know, I don't have the flare and die and stuff for that. So I just put some 3/16 black peel ply G10 and some stainless steel tubing that I got off of a job somewhere that's super thick. I mean, this stuff's almost 1/8 of an inch thick, so I had it on a 6-ton press and it took everything that press had to flare this stainless steel tube. So this handle probably survive a nuclear bomb. It ain't ever coming off. But this right here is probably one of my favorite Kodiaks. I have 2 of the other models. I'll get to those in a minute. But this one's super lean. This is like 18 thousandths behind the edge bevel, which is insane. This thing is like a lightsaber when it comes to like wet, small brush and stuff like that. This thing is like, it's like a machete, but it's like a sword, you know. So it came out pretty good. I mean, I love the way this thing looks. There's 2 more of these with the sawback, I believe. I know where one more is, and I'll be picking that one up pretty soon. So I'll have 2 of the original 3 prototype Kodiaks before it's over. So, and this sheet's gonna be pretty badass when I get done with it. This model here, I got this from Blade Show from Jared himself, the first year I ever went, and this is his fancy model. This is a fancy model that had a sawback on it, but the sawback had been ground down, so this blade has a shorter height than the standard, and the false edge is a little bit shorter, and this radius is a little bit longer and larger, but it has the hand sanded flush fitting G10 micarta, and I mean, this actually feels really great. It balances a little bit better than the standard Kodiak, to be honest. Not quite as good as the prototype, I think, but this grind is a little bit more thick behind the edge bevel. I haven't measured this one, but the standard is, I'd say, around 39 thou, which is, it's a little bit thicker than I like, but it still works. But it's really tough, you know. You don't have to worry about damaging the edge and stuff. And on a prototype blade, you know, me being a maker, I understand that, you know, you have to find like a common ground, because not everyone that buys stuff like this knows how to use it, and they'll get out there and mistreat it, and then it's going to be torn up, and they're like, oh, this thing's not that good. Well, really it is, but you don't know how to use it. I love his sheath design too. It's an open back, but unless you come straight out with it, you pop it up and then straight out, it won't come out. See? Because it's got this G10 or this micarta spacer in here that keeps the blade from coming up, so you can carry this belt carry all day without the retention strap, which is missing on this one, and it won't come out, and then you can just pop it right out like that. I carried it in my truck in between the seats, so in case I ever got to grab it, I just pop it right out. Really good blade. That is the fancy. This is the standard model Kodiak. Basically the same handle profile, same blade profile. This one's a little bit heavier balanced up front because this is the standard height. It never had a sawback on it that had been ground down, compared to the standard. You can kind of see the differences in the height of the blade. So it's a little bit more heavy up front than the fancy, but it feels really good in the hand too. You know, this natural micarta, I mean, this stuff it's super nice in your hand. It has a warm feeling. This one's got the green Cerakote with the green micarta handle. It looks kind of brown, but it is an OD green. Compared to the Cerakote, it looks brownish. But again, you know, this is an awesome tool. Omniboy Blade Works, Jared Corey. If you guys ever want to look him up, you know, he's got a lot of designs. I wish I had the time and stuff to devote to designing and making and stuff like he does, but I just don't. So a lot of the times, you know, I mean, I support other makers and buy their stuff too, because I enjoy it just as much as I enjoy my own work, sometimes even more at times. But you know, that's how you learn. You learn from other people. If anybody in this industry that says they don't learn from other people, they're crazy. You're gonna learn something from somebody. It don't matter if you learn how to do something wrong or you learn how to do something right or better, you're gonna learn something. So that's the 3 Kodiaks I have. We'll move on to Stonehaven Knife Works. This is the wakizashi that I got from him. This was a commission, so I asked him to make this blade pretty much spec'd out the way I wanted it. I let him run with it though, so. But this is 1084, I believe, or 80 CRV2, I can't remember. But it's a high flat grind, it's all hand forged. It's got the epoxy impregnated paracord wrap, super big Turk's head knot, which is awesome. Large two-hand grip. Tobin Yeto, one of the winners on Forged in Fire, if you guys want to look him up. Pretty awesome dude, makes wicked large blades, which I love. His kydex work, I don't know if it's gotten better or not, but it's definitely not his strong point, you know. Basic scabbard, you know, it's alright, but it'll do the job. Kydex is definitely not his stronghold, but his blades are awesome. This Kodiak works a little better. Still the same maker. This is the horse chopper, I believe he called it. Yeah, this was the first blade I got from him. Wicked. I love the long handles, man. I actually did a lot of cleanup work after Hurricane Irma came through here in Florida with this one. Really nice fit. He calls this the Mongolian grip. It's like this rope stuff underneath with 550 overlay with the cord still in it, so it's not the flat. Epoxy impregnated, and this stuff's tougher than hammers, you know. This blade's actually pretty balanced. I mean, I've used this a lot. This is a really awesome blade. This is 1084. This was one of the last blades he did with a coal burn forge, I believe, before he switched over to gas. So he had this on his videos, and I asked if he still had it, and I picked it up from him for a pretty good deal. So check him out, Stonehaven Knife Works. He's out of San Antonio, Texas. I forgot to mention Jared Corey. He's out of North Carolina. That's the only other blade I got from him. We'll move on to this one. This is Jan Straka. He was out of the Czech Republic at that time when I commissioned this blade from him. I believe that's his homeland. And I can't remember what he calls this blade. He made a few of them, but pretty wicked, man. This is awesome. You got torched oak. I'm not really sure what the steel is, what they call it over there. It's a spring steel of some sort. It's got like almost like a Tonto profile, but it's a full high flat grind. False edge on the top. Got the ring pommel on the end, which I never use really. I mean, you could use it, but super awesome blade. I love it. The sheath is just as badass as the blade is. I mean, this thing is like medieval as hell. This is the way I want to make the sheath for that prototype Kodiak. So I'm gonna kind of copy this a little bit with the metal overlay and stuff. It's kind of rustic. Got the hammer peen pins. This is pretty badass. Jan Straka, Czech Republic. He's got a YouTube. I know he has an Instagram and a Facebook. But Mohawk Forge. That's what he calls his stuff. He's got the little stamp, if you can see it right there. If you look at it closely, it looks like a little dude with a mohawk. Pretty badass. So that's Jan Straka. That's the only blade I got from him. I wanted to get others, but he bounces around a lot to different countries, and You know, he's like a blacksmith on the road that uses his trade and stuff to live off of. You know, bouncing from place to place, using people's shops. So, yeah, buddy. All right, I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way. This is the last Wasteland short sword I ever made. I made this one for myself. These handle scales came out of a dump site that was in North Miami, Florida. And some of the markings on some of them I Googled and looked up, and it was from a company that made some of the earliest printed circuit boards ever. And the time period that that dump was open, this could have been some of the earliest PCB, the printed circuit boards that were made. They're huge. You know, they're like 2 foot by like 13 inches, some of them, and I got stacks of them. So, but this is 1/4 inch, 5160, 58 HRC. It's about 22 thousandths behind the edge bevel. This thing, it's really light. I thought it was heavy, but compared to some other blades of this size and nature, this feels really light in your hand. It's a full tang, no lightning holes, only the holes for the tubes, stainless steel tubes. I'm gonna experiment with some of the open back sheet stuff like Jared, but for now, this is your basic scabbard with a belt loop. I've chopped trees down with this thing on jobs, you know, where we're out in the woods. I mean, like 8-inch, 9-inch pine trees. And it takes some work, but it got the job done. You can definitely use it for like a machete. All right, we're gonna move on to Kailash Blades out of the mountains of Nepal. These guys, they do really good work. They hand forge all their blades out of recycled 5160. This is my design. This is one of my Wasteland designs that, you know, we did together. This is the first one. It's a little bit smaller version. One hand grip, kind of like a Bowie. It's got the little choil in the front. So after we did this one, we moved on to the next size up. This is buffalo handle, 5160. It's like a differential quench. You can see it's got like the little Hammond. They use the open back sheath, kind of like Jared, but this is buffalo leather because they don't eat cows over there, so they use buffalo. Really tough, really tough leather. For the price, you know, what you get from these guys, it's handcrafted. You can definitely tell, you know, it's got hand craftsmanship into it just by the building methods and stuff that they use over there. I mean, really nice, you know, package for the money. We're gonna move on to design number 2. Wasteland, Himalayan Wasteland, that's what they call it over there. Basic same package. This one is a little bit larger. It's more like a machete. It's pretty, you know, it's a little bit thicker than 1/8 inch, a little less than 3/16. Super lean grind. I mean, the tip of this thing is paper thin, which is kind of dangerous the way I use it sometimes. So you can kind of see how easy it flexes, but it's really awesome. I mean, it slices through light brush like nothing. This is white rosewood. You can see it's not stabilized, so by the time it gets over here and, you know, it acclimates to the temperature, the humidity and stuff over here, the wood kind of shrinks and you get a little bit of cracking and stuff in there. But, you know, like I said, the handmade and the nature of the methods and stuff they use over there, you know, it's gonna happen. But it's a really awesome blade, super light. That one is actually based off this design. if you can't tell. They're twins. It's because it's my design, you know. I let them use my design. We worked out a deal. They sold some blades. You know, I make a little money. They make a little money. It's all good, especially when I'm not making. So it kind of works out good that way. But Kailash Blades, super light, dude. This thing's like lightning fast. That was the version 2. They did all these in limited runs. I think they did 7 to 10 blades on each run, and that one led up to this one. This is the granddaddy right here, Wasteland XL, the granddaddy. This thing is 10-inch handle, 21-inch blade. This one has a stacked buffalo leather handle, brass inserts, brass fittings, steel pommel, steel handguard on the hilt, 8mm thick at the spine, distal taper from here to here, real two-hand grip. This thing is, it's a real sword right here. It's like some movie shit. But it's pretty badass. It's a little bigger than what I would probably use. But it's definitely a badass, you know, shit hit the fan, zombie killer motherfucking blade right here, boy. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, check them out. I mean, Kailash Blade Works. Or no, Kailash. They have Instagram. I don't think they have Facebook, but most of the stuff they do is through Instagram. They're on some of the forum pages and stuff like that. For the money, you know, I got this for my, you know, this was a deal we worked out for some of the blades they sold of mine. We did some trading and stuff like that, so I ended up with this. I got good deals on all my blades anyways, because, you know, we worked out some deals and stuff. But between all these blades that I have, this one, which is mine, and I just got that other standard Kodiak not too long ago from Colin C. Amber on YouTube. I got it secondhand from him. He got it from Jared. But this one and this one are the two they get used the most out of all the blades I have. These are the workhorses right here. I had some other large blades. One was like a Gavco Excalibur style chopper. It was my favorite workhorse blade. N690, 5/16 thick spine, 13-inch blade, you know, like an 8-inch handle. That thing was a beast workhorse, but my truck got stolen and it was in the truck. So not only did they get a badass truck, they got a badass knife. So hopefully they cut their hand off with it whenever they end up using it. That'd work out really nice. But anyways, you know, I appreciate you guys following the channel. Hopefully, you know, I'll get to post up some shit that I make pretty soon. I'd really love to get back into making. I don't know if I'm gonna get back into the custom orders, because that can really turn into a hassle. I don't like stuff hanging over my head sometimes. I like to make when I want to make. You know, I have to be in the mood sometimes, and sometimes whenever it's like on top of me and it's like pressure, it's kind of, I don't know, it takes the fun out of it, makes it a little harder. It's not quite as enjoyable. But I mean, I'm not saying I won't do any customs, but I won't do a bunch of them. There's a few people that I probably will continue to do customs for, but I don't have the time, you know. And until I get the time, you know, I just can't you know, I can't take on custom blades and not be able to put the blades out in a timely fashion and have, you know, somebody waiting a year and a half for a blade because, you know, I got other stuff I got to do or I want to do. So, you know, that's where I'm at with that. So I just want to say thanks, guys. I appreciate, you know, you guys hanging in there, sticking with me. You know, I got some new subscribers. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully I'll get to show you guys some new shit here pretty soon. Peace out.